It only stands to reason that if Yahweh is with us, then everything ought to be working out exactly right. Right? Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah, day number 4 of the Torah portion, Vayishev, which means and he dwelt. Let's begin with Bereshit or Genesis chapter number 39 in verse 1. Joseph had been taken down to Mitzrayim, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, a Mitzrayim, bought him from the Ishmaelites who had taken him down there. So he's been bought as a slave. Verse 2, and it came to be that Yahweh was with Joseph, and he became a prosperous man and was in the house of his master, the Mitzrayim. Joseph is sold as a slave. But it says that Yah was with him. Here's a key thought. Let's focus on this for a moment. Our disposition, our perspective, our viewpoint, our focus must not be determined by our circumstance, but rather by our knowledge and our belief in Yahweh. Think about that. Cannot allow our circumstances to determine our outlook. If we allow our outcome to be the result of our outlook, then the outcome of our lives will fluctuate with the ups and downs of life itself and its experiences rather than by what we know to be true. So are we going to believe what we see or what we know? I'll ask that again. Are we going to believe what we see? By that, what we're experiencing, what we're tasting, what life is dealing to us at the moment, or by what we know to be true? Don't allow your outlook to determine your outcome. It would have been easy for Joseph to get depressed. After all, he is the son of the significant man Yaakov, a man of covenant, a man who carries the Bekira. He himself has had dreams where Yah is showing him that he is going to be a ruler and to have authority even over his own family. And yet, here he is, sold on an auction block along with common slaves, and he's brought into the house of Potiphar. Now, if you look at verse 3 and following, it says, and his master, Potiphar, saw that Yahweh was with him, and the Yahweh made all he did to prosper in his hands. So Joseph found favor in his eyes, and he served him, and he appointed him over his house and gave into his hand all that he had. Now, obviously, Joseph would have preferred to be home with dad and his brothers and his family and in a situation where he was not bound to servitude. But that's just not the case. And he's in a situation where he can't really do a whole lot about his circumstance. What he can do is to do the proverbial effort of making do with what you've got or doing the best you can under the circumstances that you're in. But he did not allow that to destroy his outlook. His outcome was going to be based upon vision, prophecy, dreams, an understanding of who he is and where his root is. And it says that Yah was with him. No matter what circumstance you're in, good, bad, or otherwise, Yah is with you. Now, it's easy to say that at this moment for myself. I'm warm, I'm fed, I'm housed, I'm clothed. I have reasonable means about myself to go somewhere and to do something if I have to. I have plans for the days ahead. All seems to be well at the moment. But every one of us know that life circumstances can immediately change very, very quickly. And then what? We can be thrown an unseen curve. Disaster can seemingly strike out of nowhere. And in those moments, there has to be this assurance that Yah is with us even in devastating times. In the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter number 1, Rav Shemu'el is writing to this congregation and saying, we were in such a situation where we despaired even of life. I believe he was talking about the shipwreck that they were involved with. And in the middle of a shipwreck, a messenger of Elohim spoke to him, said, I've given you life and everyone on the ship with you because you have to stand before Caesar. So there were times that Rav Shemu'el said, we were going to die, but we were given this immeasurable grace to overcome that trying situation. In the book of Jeremiah, chapter number 29, I know the plans that I have for you, plans that are good and not for evil, to give you a hope and a future, to give you hope in the final outcome. And he said, you will call upon me and I will answer you and show you great and mighty things that you do not know. There is this hope that even in the time of exile, that Yah can rise up in the midst of us and give us a certain expectation. Joseph had gone down. It says so in verse number 1. He had been taken down. He didn't choose to go down. He was taken down. But Yah was with him. In 1 Samuel chapter number 30, there is a time when David was at Ziklag, and all that he had, his wives and his possessions and his men's wives and their possessions, had all been stolen from them, and they wept until there was no more power to weep. These men were going to stone David, but he encouraged himself in Yah. He did not allow his circumstances, his outlook at that moment, to determine his outcome. He did what was necessary to change that. In the book of Acts, chapter number 16, Rav Shemu'el and Silas are thrown unjustly in jail after being beaten. It was not right that they should have not stood trial and then been punished, but without trial and without justification, they were beaten and then put in jail. The word says that they were singing praises and hymns and worshiping when an earthquake shook everything loose and opened up the prison doors. The jailer, his house, his family, all were born again and brought into the covenant family of Elohim. As a result, they did not allow imprisonment and beating and chains on themselves to determine their outcome. It was a part of their outlook. It was a bad situation, but they changed that. And doing so, they changed their outcome. Easier said than done, I know. Now, one other thought here in this chapter, Potiphar's wife. It would be evident from the reading of this storyline that she must have been a beautiful woman, an alluring, enticing, seductive woman for certain. And she consistently allowed Joseph to know her extreme attraction to him. She wanted him. Now, whether she fancied a fantasy life with him of some affair or long-term love situation, or whether she was just out to conquer somebody, we're not really told. She says, lie with me, enter into lies with me. And he gave her a 38-word sermon that says no. She is forbidden fruit. She represents all of those things that we are to say no to. And in saying no, he left his garment in her hand and fled and was taken down further. Doing right does not always end up immediately with justification and vindication. Sometimes it calls for endurance. Not easy days that we're living in. but we will endure. We will overcome. For Yah is with us, and his promises are our outcome. We'll finish this up tomorrow. Until then, shalom.